everybody here tonight. I want to remind you, if you're wanting to speak in the citizen comment period, there are sign-up sheets back on the table back there. You're welcome to sign up and speak at the end of our meeting. Let's see, let's go to, oh, we got to do the pledge. Well, please, Mr. Lee, would you lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's move right on. Item 2 is the adoption of the meeting agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Lee. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? 3-0 vote. All right, item 3, that would be my matters normally from Mayor. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight. So the only thing I have is I just want to mention my appreciation, and I'm sure I'm going to share the feelings of the rest of the council members. We had a first part of retreat this past week, and you know, it always seems easy to put all this together, but it's not. It's a lot of hard work, and I just want to express my appreciation for city staff for all the hard work they did putting the retreat together. I thought it was pretty productive. Look forward to the next one. All right. Other than that, matters from council.
Yes, I had the privilege and honor of riding around this past week, or last week, with Mr. Wood and Mr. Key. And so got a wealth of information on locally responsible paving, and it was a good event, so I appreciate that.
All right. Give you a second to get adjusted. Do you have anything you want to?
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right, then we're moving right along. Looks like item number 5 is consideration of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Short, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes 4-0. Item number 6. This is a presentation from Dr. John Downey, President of Blue Ridge Community College, on the college's annual report. Welcome as always, Dr. Downey.
Members of the council, thank you for this opportunity to come and talk to the council about the good work we do at Blue Ridge Community College. As you know, we transform the lives of many students for the better and support economic development in the city and in the region. And we couldn't do it without your ongoing support. All the Waynesboro residents who attend college, 32% of them choose Blue Ridge Community College for their post-secondary plan. So I think that's a testament to how the city residents think about the work of Blue Ridge Community College. I want to thank you for appointing excellent board members to my local board. John Matherly and Robin Crowder served the city very well in their representation of the city. And I really want to start by thanking the wonderful city staff with Mr. Hamp and all of his staff who to support us whenever we have a question or a need that arises. The college also works closely with your economic development team, Greg Hitchin and his staff, and we're delighted to have the Waynesboro Outpost in the city, which serves the needs of the city residents and the region, and also workforce partnerships that help secure recent economic development projects in the city, which I think, as you know from many of the employers in the region, workforce is one of the first and primary challenges that many employers face in this era of declining labor market participation rates and just low unemployment rates. And so we're happy to help train the citizens of the residents of the city in many different fields. And I also serve on the board of the Shenandoah Valley Partnership, led by Jay Langston. So Greg works very closely with Jay on regional economic development partnerships as well. I can't say enough about our partnerships with Waynesboro City Schools. We continue to offer exceptional dual enrollment opportunities for Waynesboro High School students, and our career coaching program that we partner with them on is well thought of in the school and in the region. We continue to enjoy a large percentage of Waynesboro High School graduates who attend Blue Ridge as their first post-secondary choice. In addition, we're working together on new workforce partnerships with the schools that will bring emergency medical technology and heavy equipment operator training to high school students while they're still in high school. So those are going to be two new pilot programs that we're starting very soon, so we're excited about those. I want you to be aware that we've also developed a wonderful partnership with the Waynesboro Players Community Theater Group. The Blue Ridge Community College Black Box Theater is now the theatrical home of the Waynesboro Players. And through that partnership, the community is able to see extremely talented artists perform on a wonderful setting on our campus. I recently saw their production of Over the River and Through the Woods and was delighted by the synergy that exists between the group and the college. I'm also privileged to serve as a board member for On the Road Collaborative, which is a hard-working organization that works with middle and high school students in Waynesboro to expose them to a wide range of after-school, hands-on career classes that really help them develop the impact of the relationship between their educational choices that they make and the ultimate career that they want to choose. So the group from Waynesboro came to the campus this past Saturday, and we entertained them and hosted them and showed them many of the programs that are available to them after high school on our campus. That program's having a huge positive impact on Waynesboro Public School students. I provided you each with packets of information for you to review at your leisure. The packets include our fast fact sheets, our annual report, handouts that highlight the statewide success of our fast forward rapid training programs, and the legislative priorities of the VCCS in case you're interested in those. The last handout, it highlights a study by Lightcast that talks about the regional economic impact of Blue Ridge Community College. The study shows that the college adds over $23.5 million in income on an annual basis to the regional economy, and that we were responsible for supporting 1 out of every 54 jobs in the region, which is really a staggering statistic if you think about it. The real impact of Blue Ridge Community College, however, is the lives we improve through the educational journey and opportunity, and especially the business and industry whose employees are educated and trained throughout our work. Many colleges and universities educate a wide range of people, but many of those don't stay in the area. Whereas Blue Ridge Community College, we know some upwards of 80–85% of our students live in the area, stay in the area, and are productive taxpayers for the region. So thank you again for your support as a city council and as a city, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Dr. Downey, in regards to the arrival of Northrop Grumman, you have programs already in place, or?
We do. We think 2 particular programs are going to be essential to helping them. One is our mechatronics manufacturing technology program. But the other one I think is going to be really helpful is our electronic technology program. It's a program that many young people don't know about, but you can go to Blue Ridge Community College, get an associate's degree in electronics technology, transfer to Old Dominion University while still living in Waynesboro, and get a bachelor's degree in engineering technology that after a few years on the job, you're eligible to take the engineering licensing exam. So it's a more of an applied approach as opposed to the theoretical approach to engineering that people would go, say, to go to UVA for or Virginia Tech or JMU. So we're really happy that we're able to provide that kind of hands-on approach that allows a person to work while they're going to school. We know from the fact sheet that you see in there that 85% of our students are part-time. And that means almost all of them, unlike many four-year colleges and universities, are working while they go to school. So we provide an economic engine for them to better themselves and help the businesses as they're going through the program. So thanks for that question. I think it's going to be really impactful, those 2 programs in particular.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, I wanted to add, coincidentally, when the governor made the announcement of Northrop Grumman, we were, a few of us were actually with you at Blue Ridge. You were showing us around, and the new medical classes, the pharmaceuticals, the nursing. Blue Ridge is just growing by leaps and bounds, and a lot of that is credit to you. I was really interested in talking to some people the other day about the aviation, new aviation program, and as I told you earlier, I flew in from Savannah this morning, and I noticed as I come through the airport, there were things that talking about the high-paying jobs for the, in high demand that those have. So, hand applause to you for all your hard work, you and your staff and all.
I've got a great
because
faculty and
that's
staff, yeah.
changing people's lives.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I would just echo that. Just thank you for all that you do and continue to do in support of our region, our community. It is absolutely an incredible resource in just transforming folks' lives. So just grateful that you're here and continue to do to show up every day and commit to the hard work. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and for all your support over the years.
And for full disclosure, I say that with a little bias because I am a Blue Ridge graduate.
That's great.
Anybody
We
else?
enjoyed those dual enrollment credits. Too.
That's awesome.
Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Save some money.
I'm trying to get my 16-year-old grandson to lean towards Blue Ridge for the first year or two. So might bring him down one day.
Yeah, I would love to help him. So,
Thank you, Doc.
all right, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving along. Item 7 is to receive a presentation on the city's stormwater program. Mr. Hamp.
Yes, sir. Members of council, this evening Jennifer Allen Key, our Stormwater Program Manager, is going to share a little bit about our program. I thought this would be helpful in advance of budget season and for some folks, a refresher, and for some folks, perhaps the first real exposure and overview that you've gotten for our stormwater program. So Jennifer, the floor is yours. Thank you.
I'm Jennifer Allen Key, and as Mr. Hamp said, I'm the Stormwater Program Manager. And tonight we're going to discuss the MS4 program, which is just one part of the Stormwater Management Program as a whole. So just to start off with, there's 4 different branches to the program. We have the administration and regulatory compliance piece, which is both state and federal. And then we have capital improvements, which has to do with flood management and alleviation. And then we have the TMDL, which is total maximum daily load, which has to do with pollutant reduction requirements. And then maintenance, we have a stormwater crew that takes care of all of the stormwater infrastructure that we have within the city. So let's just talk about the capital improvement projects compared to the total maximum daily load projects. So as I kind of said, the CIP projects help with alleviate flooding, so that's water quantity. As for the MS4 projects, which is interchangeable with the TMDL projects, have to do with water quality, pollutant reductions. The original CIP list was developed in 2006, and it is added to with newly identified problem areas. And then as for the MS4 projects, when we became an MS4 locality, we had to develop a Chesapeake Bay action plan. So that's the projects that we identified for that. The ranking for CIP is flood damage, frequency of flooding, feasibility, properties affected. As for the pollutant reduction projects, we have the amount of pollutant reductions, the cost effectiveness per pound of nutrient reduction, and feasibility. So the list for the CIP will be evaluated next fiscal year, and then we are currently evaluating the list for the MS4 projects because we have to do these projects by 2028 to meet our state and federal responsibility. So what is an MS4? An MS4 is municipal separate storm sewer system. So that just means that we have a set of pipes and structures that carry the stormwater, and then we have a set for sanitary. Sanitary gets treated at the plant. Stormwater does not. It goes straight to our waterways. So why would we want to participate in such a program? So in 2013, the Department of Environmental Quality designated us as an MS2, MS4 locality, Phase 2. And then that just means that we are smaller. Phase 1s are your bigger cities within Virginia. So this is required by the Environmental Protection Agency, and it's administered by DEQ for urbanized discharges. We just started our third permit cycle. They go in 5 years. We just started our third cycle, 2023. So the top 3 impacts to Waynesboro when we were designated an MS2 is we had to comply with the minimum control measures. There's 6 of them that are defined by DEQ. We had to develop a Chesapeake Bay TMDL action plan that takes care of our pollutant requirements, reduction requirements, and then find the means to support this program that is mandated but unfunded. So what did we do? We have a fully developed program by 2016. We also developed our Chesapeake Bay TMDL action plan, and then a stormwater utility fee was put into place in 2015. So just to hit on the stormwater utility fee, any parcel with more than 250 square feet of impervious surface receives a stormwater utility bill. So for residential, this is only for rooftops. So, and then non-residential are rooftops and your parking lots, driveways, all that kind of thing. So getting into the minimum control measures as required by the program, first is education and outreach. We, along with our education partners, go to the city schools every year, and we deliver presentations that have to do with the standards of learning for earth science. So that is watershed concepts, soil properties, and aquatic life, and the effects of water pollution. And then we also have a web page that is dedicated to games and activities for children, and then also monthly South River newsletters. And these are just examples. Up in the left is a simulated watershed model that we take to the 4th graders. It just shows the different things within the environment that could affect the water quality. There's construction, residents, using fertilizers, that kind of thing, and farm animals. And then also we have brochures that we have developed. One is grass clippings, do's and don'ts, and watershed friendly homeowner guides. So moving on to minimum control measure number 2, we annually do a watershed cleanup. So last permit cycle, we had over 100 volunteers, and we collected almost 250 bags of trash, also with tires and furniture. And those are just a list of some people that have participated in the past. Our biggest outreach event for Public Works is the River Fest every April, and then we also host a rain barrel making workshop. And then Parks and Rec does an Arbor Day celebration every year to talk about the benefits of trees in the environment. Okay, minimum control measure number 3. This is illicit discharge detection and elimination. So just an overview of our stormwater infrastructure. We have about 90 miles of storm sewer, which is both pipes and ditches combined, about 3,400 inlets, and 915 outlets. Some of those are designated as MS4 outfalls that we're required to screen every 3 years. And that just means it's the last point within the storm sewer system before it reaches a local waterway. Permit requirements, we had to develop a ordinance, which we did in 2016, map all of our infrastructure that we continually update. And then we had to develop a map for illicit discharge potential. The places in the red on the map are the ones that are more industrial and commercial users. And then we had to develop written outfall procedures. So the next one's a big one within the city because we have a lot of development going on right now. So we have construction site stormwater runoff. We are required as ENS, Erosion Sediment Control Authority, and Virginia Stormwater Municipal Authority to require land disturbance permits for over 10,000 square feet of development. So this is like your perimeter controls that you see the black fence on construction sites that keeps the sediment on site, and basins that hold water so that it does not discharge at a rate that may be detrimental to downhill neighbors. And then we have to have a program administrator, site inspector, and plan reviewer. So minimum control number 5 is post-stormwater management. So the city owns 30 stormwater practices, and then 172 are private. We have to inspect ours annually, and then private ones have to be inspected once every 5 years. Any new stormwater practice that comes online with new development, they have to record a maintenance agreement, which means they're responsible for maintaining it. And if it's not, we can go in, or our contractors, and remediate it if it has some effects that might be detrimental. And then also, we try to have residents and also commercial users to put in best management practices that will help, it will do a utility bill credit, but also it's good for the environment. The bottom picture is the rain barrel, which is a water quantity practice. So they take their gutter from their downspout from their gutter, and then they just hook into it, and then when they're ready to use the water for gardening, they can do so. So that's water quantity. The one above is a biofilter in our park, Ridgeview Park parking lot, and that's for water quality. It has special plantings that can soak up any nutrients that might come off of the parking lot. And then the last minimum control measure is good housekeeping and pollution prevention. So as a MS4 locality, we had to identify some of our own properties that have a lot of moving pieces that could have illicit discharge or sedimentation that gets into the local waterways. So these are two of the places that we identified. Almost all of the operations employees are hazmat certified, so they respond to any leaks and spills within the city and do remediation. And then our nutrient management plans we're required to do through DCR, which is Environmental Department of Conservation and Recreation. And this is for ball fields in our cemeteries. So this is just because all the different fertilizers and chemicals that are put on there. So this just puts a restriction on those and what can be used. And then things we do street sweeping. You probably see the sweeper out almost every weekday. And then we do an annual contract for storm sewer inspections and cleaning. Some of the areas within the city have never been cameraed, so we don't know what the pipe conditions are. So we need to see if we can if we need to repair or replace, and then cleaning of these areas. We usually hit the same ones for the clean just because they have a lot of traffic. So getting into the pollutant reduction requirements, so that is, we have to be in compliance by June 30, 2028. So Chesapeake Bay TMDL is just a pollution diet that places limits on nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediment in runoff. So some of the things that causes this are older developments that do not have any stormwater infrastructure or overdue maintenance. So what we do to help with this is mapping and minimize, which I showed you the illicit discharge map, and then projects, which I'll talk about on the next slide. And then residents, they can apply the recommended amount of fertilizers and do not apply before runoff producing events. Pick up pet waste, and then also compost grass clippings or leaves or dispose of properly, because when they get into the storm drains, it also allows for street flooding. So these are some of the projects we've done to date. We converted the Pelham East Stormwater Pond to a constructed wetland. The Ridgeview Park parking lot bioretentions, which I showed you a few slides back, and then the Jefferson Park constructed wetland, which is shown below, which is also called Mulberry Run, or it's located on Randolph Avenue. And then today, we kicked off the Hopeman Station Detention Pond Conversion Project, and that is going to convert it to a level 1 constructed wetland. And then we are going to continue to do our annual storm draining. With the CIP reevaluation, we're going to try to incorporate some water quality components into those projects instead of just only water quantity, so we can get more bang for our buck. And then that's all I have. Any questions?
The utility bill credit. How much, I mean, is it a dollar amount, or how do they do it?
Usually like 10%.
10%?
Depending, you can do multiple practices,
Yeah.
but it never gets over 50% of your bill. You know what that is, because you're billed monthly, but it goes out once biannually, though.
Gotcha. The water that runs out, the stormwater that runs out into the nature, how is it tested, or is it tested? to make sure we're not polluting anything else.
Yeah, so there's a whole, like the Chesapeake Bay,
Yeah.
TMDL, so they did a lot of testing and that kind of thing to get to the numbers of, so each locality, like we have a certain amount of pollutant reductions we have to do, and it's kind of just based on the overall watershed. So we're in the Potomac watershed, so it's all of what comes, like, goes all the way to the Potomac River, and then it kind of divides it out into different localities. So we don't do any testing ourselves, just as a city.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyone else? Anything? All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for.
One question for the South River Preserve project. I think at one point there was a conversation about being able to take credit for some of the projects, and then life went on. We had this pandemic thing happen, so I never really kind of got caught up on were we able to receive additional credits for some of the attributes of that project?
I think we will be able to in the future, once they get underway and fully constructed. So it'll be that, and also in conjunction with that project is the Rockfish Run Stream Bank enhancements, which is the same contract. So that's where we'll get most of our credit reduction, our pollutant reduction credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the Loth Spring?
Yeah, there's a few there. I don't think it's too much though, just because it's not a big area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving right along, item number 8, we're going to consider adopting resolution of official intent to reimburse expenditures with the proceeds of a borrowing in reference to Nature's Crossing Technology Center on-site and off-site utilities. Mr. McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, and good evening, members of council. So City Council is asked to consider adopting the attached reimbursement resolution. During the 2024 CIP process, the city began planning for receiving grants related to the Nature's Crossing Industrial Park. If the project is not ultimately fully grant funded and the city needs to proceed with a debt issuance, the attached resolution would allow the city to reimburse itself for expenses not covered by grants related to the project. So the important things to remember about this resolution are it does not require you to borrow money and it does not require you to reimburse yourself. What it does do, if you decide to borrow money and you need to reimburse yourself, it makes it so that any outflows towards making the project Nature's Crossing Phase 4 site would be able to be reimbursed from any debt issuance proceeds.
Okay. All right, before I ask for a motion, is there any questions of Mr. McCormick? All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the resolution of intent to reimburse.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Short. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Allen. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion passes 4-0. Item number 9, we're going to consider adopting an ordinance appropriating $150,000 in Department of Forestry Urban and Community Forestry Inflation Reduction Act program funds to the Capital Improvement Fund. Again, Mr. McCormick.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So actually, as the South River Preserve project that Councilman Short just brought up, that project was fully grant funded. And as part of that project, when we received bids back, some items had to be reduced to value engineer the project down to the amount of the grant awards. Parks and Rec was able to identify some Department of Forestry funds that they found this project to be extremely attractive because the project was already bid. It was going to be a quick turnaround, and they awarded us $150,000 of additional funds to put some things out that needed to be taken out of the project to get it down to the grant award. So this appropriation would allow those items to be added back in. This item can be introduced and adopted this evening.
All right. Is there any questions, Mr. McCormick?
If there's any other organizations that have an extra $150,000 sitting around, come to Waynesboro.
Send it our way. All right, is there a motion to adopt the ordinance appropriating the Department of Forestry grant funds?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Short. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Is there any other further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that passes 4-0. Item number 10 is to consider introducing an ordinance appropriating $4 million to the water fund for construction of a raw water tank. Once again, Mr. McCormick.
Thank you again. So as part of the ARPA spending plan that was developed in 2022, 2023, the council identified a utility project in the water fund that they wanted to partially fund using ARPA funds. Because the water fund is not a multi-year fund, that money can only be appropriated a year at a time. So the engineering for that project was appropriated and spent during 2023 and 2024. It was about $500,000. We've received bids back. The total project will be about $4.5 million. The council had set aside $2.5 million of ARPA funds, and then we had been saving net position in the water fund to pay for the remainder of the project. The intent of this appropriation ordinance is to fund that project so that that work can be started and hopefully completed sometime during next fiscal, can be started during this fiscal year and hopefully completed sometime during next fiscal year. A little bit of a procedural item. This item can be introduced and discussed this, or introduced seconded and discussed this evening. It will need a public hearing. Usually you would see these items go to your consent agenda, but it will need a public hearing at the next meeting.
Okay, any questions of Mr. McCormick? All right, is there a motion to introduce the ordinance appropriating $4 million in the water fund for construction of a raw water tank?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Short. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Any further discussion?
Mr. McCormick, just a question related to our ability to, we can have the public hearing and act on it next meeting, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. This ordinance will receive final consideration at the February 26th regular council meeting. All right, that takes us to item 11, communication, correspondence, calendar, and comments of the city manager.
So I don't have anything this evening, sir.
All right. Well, in that case, we will move right along to item number 12, which is citizen comment. Everybody signed up?
And no one has signed up.
Is it because I'm here?
I don't think so.
All right, then. Well, in that case, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Short. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.